What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy Halucha Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another Smack Talk review thing with Jigger, my bobber, my thingy. Uh, I got in the headphones because I have my heater on and it's cold, and I don't really feel like turning it off because when I turn it off, I get cold. I don't like being cold. And of course, I got the handy dandy notebook, and we're gonna just jump straight into this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, all the good stuff in the book, and we're gonna get into SmackDown, man. SmackDown was a very fun show. I enjoyed it. It wasn't really, I don't know, it wasn't like wrestling crazy heavy like it's been like the past couple of weeks, but I think it was still like a fun. It was still a fun show. There was still a lot of storylines that was going into it. That's what I liked about this. This reminded me of like all like old Attitude Era type things where you had everybody on the show has a story. There's not like there wasn't just a okay two guys wrestled, one guy wins, and then the next week another guy wrestles and then that guy wins, and it's 50-50 booking. It's like no, every wrestler who comes out there was a story, and they're involved in a story, and it's leading them to the Royal Rumble, which is cool. But like even before that, like you know, Billy Kay has her thing with the Riot Squad. Who has they have their thing. Natalia and Tamina is on looking on because they're the one of two tag teams on SmackDown. Um, Sasha has her thing with Carmella and Reginald. They had that thing. Um, Biggie has his thing with Apollo and Sami Zayn. The whole Universal title picture thing, tag team titles. That there's a story going on there. Um, what else? And I think there was one more. Oh, the Cesaro Bryan thing that they've been doing. So everything has a story. Even the Corbin Dominic thing. It was a story from like a couple of weeks ago, stuff like that. So I thought I had something in mind. Like I was saying, everything has a story. So we're gonna get into those things in my top five. Of course, as always, I have to talk about what did not make the top five. And I think there was like 6 matches or something like that. And the one match that did not make the top five was Corbin versus Dominic. It was just a really short match. It wasn't long at all. A couple of minutes that they had, was fine. Dominic is, he's trying. God bless his heart. Corbin, the veteran in this, can't believe I said that. Made sure, Dominic got his stuff in, there's some cool head scissors, stuff like that. But in the end, Corbin hits a nice end of the days to end Dominic. Um, and yeah, that was it. So I'm guessing maybe they might have help from somebody that they were supposed to help from last week, but it didn't happen. So maybe Mysterio is going to get somebody to help him beat Corbin, I guess. So starting with the top five, my number five is Biggie versus Apollo Crews. What was number four? 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I got it. All right, so yeah, number five was Biggie versus Apollo. This was mostly like the match that they were having was really good. Sami Zayn is hilariously hilarious. He came out like after the Roman stuff that we'll talk about later. He handcuffed himself and he was watching everybody um, come to the ring as he was like talking about his injustice and stuff like that. He had like a whole bunch of fences, picket things, picket signs. One of them said Sammy, like had his name, and it said "Stand Against Moral Injustice," which was hilarious. Um, but he kept coming out and everybody kept interrupting him. I liked how when Cesaro came out, he was. Oh, I'll talk about that later too. But there was a bit where he came out with Cesaro. Cesaro came out and he was saying, I speak 5 languages, and he spoke, I think, French Canadian. He spoke to Sammy, and Sammy said something back to him. He was like, nobody cares what you have to say. That's hilarious. But during this match, of course, because he wants to be Intercontinental Champion because he keeps getting injustice all the time. They were having a match. It was good stuff. Big E does belly to bellies. Their suplexes and the great hits that was coming into a great match. And then they were going to the top rope. Sammy uncomfs himself like a cartoon character. It's like, yeah. And then he goes chases after both of them. I think he gives Apollo a haluva kick, and I think he gives Big E 1-2. Match is called off. And he was like, ha, see, there's my injustice. That's what you get. So I assume that the Royal Rumble is going to be a triple threat match between Sammy, Big E, and Apollo for the Intercontinental Championship. And it's going to be great. What I hope happens, Big E wins, and then when he wins, he celebrates, and then out of nowhere, boom, black mask to his face, and his next challenger is Aleister Black. It's not going to happen, but, wishful thinking. Number 4 on my list is Sasha Banks versus Reginald. I think he has another name as well, but I'm just going to say Reginald because that's what I remember. This was an intergender match, and they don't really have much of these, like any of them. The most intergender-ish type matches they have are mixed tag match. And I think the last thing that happened that I remember would be, I think Baron Corbin gave Becky Lynch an End of Days like some years ago, when they had the thing where it was like, oh, Becky and Seth, they're together. Let's put them together in like every segment. It was really awkward. But yeah, this was very this is well booked. They booked the match where you got to show off like Reginald's like his athleticism and his skills that he can do as a wrestler, but never once actually, laying actual hands on Sasha Banks. Like he did a lot of maneuvering. He did like a lot of counter wrestling, but not one time did he like strike her or like slam her or kick her or do anything. Like she would do something and he would like reverse it into like some nice flip thing. He would try to he did his one thing where Sasha does she does one of her moves. It's like she doesn't do she does a meteora, but he like turns it into like a backflip or something weird like that. Like he was out here showing all types of athleticism. It was great. He did get hit with a meteora. She got some hits on him and stuff like that. And then in the end, I think she hit. He was trying to reverse the like a head scissors, but she ended up plopping them and then put him in the bank statement, and she won. So yeah, very very well booked match, very fun match. It's cool that they got to do that Sasha got to do an intergender match on SmackDown, because they don't really do those unless it's tag team action. So the fact that they got to do one and smartly booked it was great to see, and it was a lot of fun. And maybe they might have, maybe they might do stuff like this before, because I know they did stuff like that with James Ellsworth, but James Ellsworth got beat up. So the fact that there was like a lot of back and forth counter wrestling type stuff was very very well booked, and hope to see Reginald in some matches, man. That might be cool. Or maybe they might bring Mixed Match Challenge back, and they might have Carmella and Reginald as a tag team. Who knows? Number 3 on my list is Asuka and Charlotte versus the Riots. This was a very good match. They don't shy away on the good matches on here. This was a match that Asuka really needed, since she got booty raped on can I say booty raped on? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Well, I can't say anything. I can't do anything about it now. But she got it handed to her. I guess I could say it. Nobody barely watches this. I get probably a couple of people who watch this, so it's alright. But she got Alexa Bliss like pretty much squashed her. So this was a thing that she needed. Um, a lot of people were wondering why this wasn't for the title, like this why this wasn't a tag team title match, and my guess would be because um, Liv Morgan lost last week to Natalya. So really, if anything, this should have been Natalya and Tamina in that spot, unless Billie Kay, got them this tag team match. But there's always the thing where hey, if they beat the tag team champions, they'll have a chance to win the tag team champion. They'll get a title opportunity down the line, which probably would have to been after Royal Rumble because they're taking on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Or they could have won this match and maybe they could have went on Raw, beat um, Nia and Shayna and turned it into a triple threat match. I don't know. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I love Ruby. I love Liv. They're probably they're like the only tag team from the beginning of when the tag team titles was a thing. The only tag team that's actually still a team, even though they split apart for a little bit and then they're back. They're the only actual team. So, they showed a lot of good tag team stuff. Billie Kay, she got involved. She tried to help out, didn't work out. And then Ruby got hit with the Shining Wizard natural selection thing, the combination, and Asuka and Charlotte win. So they probably won't be on SmackDown for another month or so. And then backstage, Billie was apologizing, and they was like, she was like, "Hey, I got you guys in the Royal Rumble though. We can do it." And they were just like nicely told her, "Nah, it's not gonna work, slime. Riot Squad is just us two, not you." And then Billie Kay was sad, and I don't like when Billie Kay's sad because Billie Kay is great, and I love Billie Kay. So maybe either she finds a different tag team partner, or maybe she gets somebody from NXT and get them to go against the Riots, where they'll have like another tag team, help build the tag team division, like somebody fresh, like Priscilla Kelly and girl that was on, the other girl that was there. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, no, fun match. I loved it. Number two was Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a cool segment. Daniel Bryan came out, and then of course Sami Zayn was still handcuffed. They were jabbing at each other. Well, Sami was jabbing at him. Bryan was laughing at Sami, and he pretty much talked about the Royal Rumble. He talked about how he did a lot of stuff in his career, but even with Michael Cole, he said that all his accomplishments in the Royal Rumble. And before he can really finish anything, Cesaro comes out. And then that's when Cesaro, and I was like, ooh, Cesaro versus Bryan round two? Yes, please. And that's when he did the French Canadian thing on Sami and said, nobody cares about you, which was hilarious. And he pretty much was saying, he's like, oh, this Royal Rumble stuff that you keep talking is just spewing a lot of nonsense. You're not gonna win. You're not worth it. You're not worthy to win, and all the good stuff. And Bryan was like, started to take off his, stuff. It's like, hey, how about, that you beat me last week? I've been thinking about it. How about, you face me in this rematch? So I was like, how about no? It was so great. And he pretty much said, nah, I beat you already. I'm over you. He's like, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna have an open challenge to anybody in the back who wants to face me. And I ain't gonna hold you. I thought I was gonna hear. I thought I was gonna hear Nakamura. I was gonna say. I don't think my brain could have handled it, or my heart. But Dolph Ziggler comes out and pretty much praises Cesaro, saying how good he is. No offensing. What's his face? Daniel Bryan. And he said, hey, he'd love to have a match with Cesaro. And Cesaro got really serious. And yeah, they had a match and it was great. Great technical stuff. I love the love that Cesaro is finally getting that he deserves. He rightfully deserves. And if this leads to Cesaro, like I said Aleister Black earlier, but if this leads to Cesaro versus Big E and Cesaro getting himself an Intercontinental Championship reign. Yes, yes, please. I like all of that. I like everything about that. Um, but yeah, this was great. You know, they show off his technical skills. Dolph Ziggler, of course, as always, is amazing. He's great. They did the spin thing for like at least 2.5 minutes. Funny thing on commentary where Michael Cole said, "Hey, have you ever been in the swing before?" And then Brian was like, "Yeah, I had a match against him last week. I was in it." And then and then Cole just like funny to just said, he was like, "Oh yeah, I called that match too, didn't I?" That was actually kind of funny. Um, in the end, Dolph Ziggler went for like a famouser, but he had him in midair. Like he went for a famouser, and then like Cesaro like caught him in midair, and sort of like when not as impressive, but sort of impressive as like when AJ Styles did that amazing, like he bounced Ricochet off the ropes and caught him in like the Styles Clash position, hit him with a Styles Clash. It was sort of like that. Like Dolph Ziggler went up for a famouser and like Cesaro caught him in mid-air and neutralizer position for the neutralizer for the 1, 2, 3. I kind of liked how like he probably saw that on Raw and he was like, I could do something like that, and then he did something like that. Wasn't as impressive, but that was still pretty great. And I love that they're making Cesaro a threat, and it's great. Him versus Shinsuke Nakamura is gonna be fire when it happens. Number one, as you can guess, I don't remember what they announced for next week. I do know that they announced that Cesaro, Bailey, and Sami Zayn, I think, are going to be on Talking Smack. And when you have somebody, Paul Heyman guys, like a Cesaro on Talking Smack, it's going to be nothing but perfection. But I don't think they announced anything for... I don't think they announced anything for next week. I don't think so. But did I not? There's one thing that I should mention before I mention the number one. This was a segment and it was pretty hilarious. They had the Bailey Bianca trial thing. I don't know how I didn't do that because I clearly made it my thumbnail, so I don't even know how I didn't even mention this. They had the obstacle course, which was great. Michael Cole was supposed to be the special guest referee. They were showing stuff that Bianca Belair was jump roping with her hair, which was fantastic. And then Bailey was doing like weights and lifts and stuff like that. And she tells Michael Cole to go somewhere. She's like, "Hello, ding dong, don't need you, adios." And she explained the obstacle course, which you had to do. And Bailey, of course, being the dastardly heel that she was, she very much struggled with the big tire. And then she did like little tiny hurdles. She jumped over all of them. And then she had like the big tall things. And she just like jogged around them, which was hilarious. She fire carried Chad Gable, did her shot thing, and I think she did all of that in like a minute and 10 seconds or a minute 20 or something like that. And then it was Bianca's turn, and she was like, "Hey, you're the EST, so we're gonna make it a little difficult." I think the tire was bigger. They moved the hurdles. The hurdles was bigger. But you know, Bianca did hurdles and track, so her jumping hurdles, no problemo for her. So she does the tire thing very easily, jumps over hurdles, no problem. Climbs the things that they do in like the military, climbs those both, easy peasy lemon squeezy. She goes for the Chad Gable fireman's carry thing. Chad Gable's like, "You're not doing it to me, you're doing it to him." Oh yeah, my boy. Oh yeah, my boy Otis. Fire carry. She gets him, picks him up like a lightweight, carries him over to the thing, drops him, tells Bailey to D up. Oops, skirt. Breaks the ankles, dunks it. She wins because she's the EST. Bailey's not happy. She throws basketball at her, beats her up, and leaves. Hilarious segment. She crossed the sugar honey iced tea out of Bailey. I love me some Bailey, and she just crossed her and just hurt my feelings. So their story is developing. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So yeah, number one, Roman and Paul Heyman. By the way, there was no Shinsuke Nakamura and there was no Jey Uso, no main event Uso in this. Wonder what happened, but yeah, Roman Reigns starts the show. He starts with Paul. He just hilariously hilarious. Um, Talks about car subject to change. He was pretty much he called Adam Pearce a puss. That was hilarious. He was like you know I he's talking about this injury. He's like, I'm injured. I'm always injured. What if I would have, what if I just can't be injured on it was like Royal Rumble's 2 weeks? He's like, my neck hurts, my ankle hurts, my foot hurts. He's like, I've been carrying this company. My back hurts from carrying this company all for the past 5 years. It was pretty great. And he pretty much talked about uh, him. He said he what he does in this company is pretty much the one that sells the tickets and stuff like that. He said he's never missed a show. He said it took pandemic for him having to leave for him to miss a show. He's like, so talking about him being injured, there should be no excuse or whatever like that. He bullies Adam Pearce and stuff like that, and then Paul Heyman laughs at him, and then Scrap Iron's like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. He was like, okay, I could take the berets for Roman, but I ain't taking that BS from you. And Paul Heyman tells him Roman tells him to handle. He's like, hey, he disrespected you. He disrespected you. That means he disrespected me. He disrespect me. That means he disrespects our family. You gonna let him disrespect me, us, our family like that? And then Paul Heyman's like, oops, I paused it. I'm sorry. He said, let me tell you something. You just gone there and disrespect the tribal chief? Huh? You gonna disrespect the tribal chief? You think that's something you're gonna do? I'm from New York. I'll whoop that ass. You want a match? Hey, you want a headline? You want a main event? I'll give you a main event. Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce versus the Brooklyn Killer Machine, New York City's own Paul Heyman. Drops mic. He throws the mic. I'm not throwing my mic, but he threw the mic. And Scrap Daddy said, absolutely. Oh yeah, free win for me. And then he went backstage, and then he was like, I know what you was doing. I understand what you was doing, Rumble. You trying to, get in my head, and I got you. And then Rumble was like, I never said for you to take that match. I wanted you to do what you do best. I wanted you to dismantle him verbally. But you decided to get in this match. And you have to do this. You got to be a man. Like I didn't hire no punk. I hired a man. So you're gonna do that. He gets up, and then Paul Heyman was like, ew. And then the match happens, of course. But of course, as always, Paul Heyman slides his way out because card subject to change. Obviously, card subject to change. Roman Reigns comes out. He comes in that Superman punch to the face bone of Scrap Daddy. He throws him out the ring. Adam Pearce gets some good looks in on Roman. I was like, okay, I respect it. Okay, Adam, and then Roman kicks him in the nuts and then beats him up. I was like, oh, that's unfortunate. Kevin Owens comes out. Kevin Owens did cut a promo. He pretty much said that he wanted to come in, but of course, Roman politicked his way to not have him in an arena. He pretty much talked about like all the bunch of tattoos he had. He said he has the ones of his grandparents because they're the one who showed him how to fight, and those his biggest supporters. And he said he wished that he could. They were still alive by the time he had made it to WWE. He's gonna make it all worth it to him. He comes in, he beats up Roman Reigns, just whoops that butt. Roman Reigns get a little bit of offense. He tries to hit him with a Superman punch. Oh, Kevin Owens said, stunner. Boom, midair stunner. Caught him, started beating him up, goes outside. Boom, another stunner. Pop-up powerbomb on the announce table. Tearing him up. 2 weeks, Roman's got his comeuppance. 2 weeks. Last week, they was going to have the last man standing match. This week, Kevin Owens whoops that ass of Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns, since he's been back, has not got his whooped ass at all. And Kevin Owens tore that ass up. And then he grabbed the stairs like he was about to beat him up. Like, you don't know if he's going to beat him up. So, yeah, that was fantastic. So, it's crazy because I don't expect Roman to get beat up like a third time in a row. Like, next week, I fully expect Roman to get in that ass before Roman Rumble. Might as well be Roman Rumble before the Royal Rumble. So it's gonna be interesting if they actually pull the trigger on Kevin Owens, because like they could do a thing where, because like if this was a crowd, Kevin Owens would be getting the biggest pops of a lifetime. If this was a live crowd, Kevin Owens would get the biggest pops of a lifetime. So it's going to be interesting to see and to make it like a last man standing match. You know, Roman doesn't have to really get pinned, so it could be a thing where Royal Rumble Kevin Owens wins, and then maybe I don't know if it's Elimination Chamber or Fastlane or whatever pay-per-view's next. They could do a thing where Roman Reigns is mad. Maybe Kevin Owens has a title match against somebody or whatever like that, and then he wins, and then Roman Reigns comes back, starts mollywopping Kevin Owens, and then they do like an Elimination Chamber match, and there's those two at the end. Or maybe they do a thing where they do a number one contenders match, and the winner, if it's not Daniel Bryan or somebody, the winner faces whoever the Universal Champion is, and maybe that's at the next pay-per-view. Roman wins the Elimination Chamber, and then he faces Kevin Owens at Fastlane, and then he wins the title back, and then Roman faces Daniel Bryan or Shinsuke Nakamura, or whoever wins the Royal Rumble. I don't know. They could go a lot of different ways, or they could do Roman can just win, and then maybe if Shinsuke wins, he wins the belt, or if it's Daniel Bryan, Roman can win. Roman can lose the belt, get it back at Fastlane, probably defend it against Bryan, and then beat him or whatever like that. But all in all, this was a good show. This was very fun. I enjoyed it start to finish. I love a lot of the storylines. Maybe my safe thing of doing these days, but I'm going to give it a B+. There was nothing like ridiculously, like the wrestling was good, but it was nothing ridiculously crazy with wrestling. There was just, just good solid stuff leading into next week, which is their go home show. B+ is very, very fair. What did you guys think of the show? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.